extraordinary achievements of some of Ghana's finest sons and daughters. The unharmed musicians had various fields from academia and arts to public service and innovation, enriching not just our nation, but the global community. As I prepare to share a piece of music with you, let it be a celebration of the spirit of achievement and excellence that we gather to honor today. Music, much like the stories we celebrate, has the power to inspire, unite, and uplift. Let us honor them with a round of applause. Let us honor them with a round of applause. Let us honor them with a round of applause. Let us honor them with a round of applause.
This room is flooded with many of my seniors. He's one of them. Let's give him a hand, shall we, please? And Moba and Dr. Akutu is another one. And Dr. Enin is another one. Now, when you have these people as mentors, you smile at a storm. Now, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Please allow me to stand by the existing protocols. There are so many reputable people in this room that looking through the audience, my eyes are glazed with fear and anxiety. I mean it. And if I make mistakes, forgive me. I'm blessed to have a good many of you as my mentors, in whom I have the greatest respect. And if I were to list all of you, it would exhaust the time allocated for this review. So please bear with me. I'm truly honored for the opportunity to review a book which I consider exceptional, a pathfinder. It will need to be mainstreamed in our education system to guide the youth in Ghana and Africa. To begin with, the substance of this book, and I've got the first copy. Do I get an amen on this one? I've got the first copy. The rest of you have to buy it. That's why we're here. You know, the book set my mind wandering all the way back to my school days in colonial Ghana, starting from Obuasi to Kumasi in the 1950s. I'm not an octogenarian, but I'm getting there. Our knowledge of great people at the time was restricted to characters in a history book called The Makers of Civilization. I'm sure some of you were victims of this. Oh, you remember it? Oh, very good. Though the icons listed were mostly of African origin, they were portrayed to us in European images of historical and religious icons. In the last century, to reverse the miseducation, great thinkers, movers and shakers, like Marcus Garvey, Osagyefo Kwame Nkrumah, George Padmore, W.E.B. Du Bois, C.R. James, J.E. Casely Herford, Paul Robeson, and some earlier Pan-Africanists intimated the concept of the African personality. Nkrumah and Du Bois, for example, saw the proper curation and dissemination of Africans' history through a vehicle they called the Encyclopedia Africana. The chief purpose of that superb initiative was twofold. One, to elevate the status of the African in the eyes of the wider world. And two, to inform, grow, and shield the confidence of younger people of African descent. And what better way to celebrate that purpose than spotlighting the solid achievements of Africans throughout world history. The idea was so profound and timely, knowing darn well that Western intellectuals, for insidious, crafty imperial controls, found it expedient to restrict the history of our African continent by making it begin and end with the transatlantic slave trade. What a profound delight it was then when I received a call from my mentor and advanced film senior, Dr. A.A. Akutu, instructing me to review the new book, GAFICS series on some outstanding Ghanaians, Volume 1. If I knew it was going to be like this, I'm coming back. Because I'm scared. How exciting it was then when I received this hard copy from Kofi de Graaf Johnson, one of GAFFX executives. See here? I'm Kofi. Medase. Good. Now, GAFFX happens to be the initials of Ghana Association of Former International Civil Servants, made up of former staff of the United Nations, the World Bank, International Monetary Fund, African Development Bank, etc. It was formed with the objective of contributing to the nation's progress by availing the skills and expertise of its members to help in governmental institutions. A prime objective of GAFICS is aimed at alleviating the scarcity of information on some outstanding Ghanaians by documenting their successes to inspire generations and also to ensure that such people are never forgotten. Casting the spotlight on both men and women, this publication, and as we said earlier, covers medical doctors, scientists, lawyers, international civil servants, administrators, a photographer, and an entrepreneur in food processing. While a few came from relatively well-to-do backgrounds, others were not as endowed, but nevertheless showed incredible determination to reach greater heights. Now, it was noted in the introduction that, and I quote, as the output was to be non-political and nonpartisan, the project team tended to exclude people with substantial investment in politics. Quotation closed. To which I say, hallelujah. Anyway, some of the icons in this book combine professional achievements with philanthropy, community service, and powerful advocacy for gender issues and so on. More of such volumes, as we've been told, will cover other outstanding Ghanaians from different parts of the country to demonstrate purpose, determination, hard work, and the will to succeed. Another lesson to be drawn from their careers was that even if one came from lowly backgrounds, they could still aspire to achieve excellence irrespective of the daunting obstacles. These days, where the youth seem confused about the direction of this great country of ours, it is well holding up to them the models of these exemplars to inspire them to achieve not only for their own individual selves, but to serve the nation and the larger international community. As Albert Schweitzer put it, and I quote, "I do not know what your destination will be, but one thing I do know, the only ones among you who will be really happy are those who have sought and found the means to help others." Now, this hardbound 510-page book consists of 21 chapters, 2 of which are the introduction and the conclusions. The rest are devoted to 19 iconic personalities. Let's whet our appetites with this video for a start. Just one video.
Women have certain special, unique attributes that they bring to their work, and which men don't have. And men also have certain unique attributes which they bring to their work, which women don't have. And you need the two together if you want full development in your country.
Mrs. Jaggi was somebody who really pushed issues. She told me that she became a high court judge because of Nkrumah. She said there was some national function or other, and Nkrumah came out, and the Chief Justice, Kosa, came out, with him and introduced the judges one after the other. And when Nkrumah got to her, he said, "Are you a high court judge yet?" And she said, "No." And he turned to Justice Kosa and said, "Why haven't you made a one?" And he said, "Oh, said in Britain doesn't even have one." And said, "They are slow about it. Why should we be slow about it?" And he said, Mr. President, High Court judges are addressed as my lord, and I can't see myself addressing somebody's wife as my lady." And so that Mrs. Adola, she minded being addressed as my lord. And she said, "No." He said, "Make a one."
Now, we're going to begin by introducing each of the iconic personalities. Haffar was a distinguished development planner and a multi-talented visual and performing artist. And then Professor Alote is a world-acclaimed mathematical genius and a scientist, and is one of the people who helped to fund the building of this academy. And we have Dr. Kweku Indi. Please take a bow. That was my senior in my school. Those days, I think when I was in Form 1, he was in about lower 6 or so. And when you have problems with your chemistry or physics, you go to him and he'll fix you up. So with that, thank you for being here. And then we have Nana Dr. Samuel Wati Asante. Nana Susubribi Kobia Asante, an international legal brain dedicated to public service at the international national levels. A pioneer medical doctor and researcher on drug development for treating river blindness, Dr. Abla Awazi. And we have James Barnum, an iconic photographer. He famously chronicled Ghana's independence era in pictures. This is just a few of them. The rest are in the book, but we have to buy the book to find out. I'm just trying to whet your appetite. After that, you never told me, Anna. Very good. And then we have Samuel Henry Brooke Graves, a medical practitioner and international civil servant. And my own Dr. Chinwe Hesse. Do you see the picture at the bottom? What was she doing? It's a high jumper. So the achievement started early at Wesley Girls. And she became an ardent voice of economic development issues, gender equality, and especially African matters. And our own Dr. Dolphin. Auntie Dolphin. Is she here? Oh, sorry, let's do everything again. You'll be surprised how much you motivate the rest of us. Thank you very much for being there. A university professor and pro-chancellor, and Professor Johnson Crabb, a female pioneer anesthetist, professor of medicine, and a female president of West African College of Surgeons. And Robert Kweku Atagadu, when we were growing up, he was always in the papers. So we got to know who he was, you know, and I got to know his son too. A dedicated national and international civil servant. And one of my favorite justices, Annie Jaggi. And you'll be surprised there's a road named after her. I found that from the book, and the other pictures of her too. A pioneer lady Superior Court judge in Ghana and Commonwealth, and an outstanding women's rights activist. And Judge Dr. Thomas Abuachi Mesa, a world-class international lawyer and a judge. You know, can you imagine if these people were not showcased in this book? Some of us would never know. So this is a process that has begun. And I think volume 2, 3, 4, and how many? We are there to support you. Okay? And Dr. Letitia Oping, a pioneer woman scientist with vision. And Esther Oku. I'll tell you this, my wife is here. Whenever she has a fixed palm soup pet, she gets one of the products. I've been living on it for a long time. An acclaimed woman industrialist, supporting vulnerable women nationally and internationally. Neil Adote Odunton, a pioneering scientist of the seabed and its mineral wealth. Professor Samuel Osuama, and I'm proud to say he's an uncle of mine. My daughter is married to the nephew, and I feel so honored to have been factored into this particular family. I think that is it. You know what I'm saying? Behind every great man, there's a greater woman. And Dr. Araba Sifa Dede. I know everyone. A clinical psychologist with exceptional empathy for helping other people. Dr. Fred Kwajo Grapa, a patriot medical doctor with the zeal of a missionary. You know, this book is powerful because these are the exemplars. These days, it's very difficult to find a mentor. So, GAFICS has done us a favor.
Now, this is just a summary of the people in there. To know more, what do you have to do? You didn't hear me. To know more, what do you have to do? And you don't only buy one, but you buy what? In multiple. How many? In conclusion, when the review of this book was first published in my column in the Graphic, the responses were quite positive. I was also to receive some feedback from readers asking why so and so were not included. You can't miss this person. And I'm taking a deep breath. It is worth knowing that this is merely the beginning, the very first volume, with other volumes in the pipeline. Good. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, let's thank the executive and members of GAFFX, in particular the three compilers, Eugenia Dateba, my soul sister Agnes Akosia Edu,
You know, I met this wonderful lady when she was teaching at UCLA, and she was introduced to me by my wife. But later on, when I was looking for her and I couldn't find her, she had gone to Ethiopia. He left us unceremoniously. So I haven't seen you in about 40 years old. And you and I have a dinner date. Remember? And Barbara Opon. Very good, very good. Again, thanks to GAFICS for the opportunity to celebrate this with you this afternoon. And God bless our homeland, Ghana.
GAFICS series from outstanding Ghanaians, Volume 1, compiled by Virginia Databa, Agnes Acosta Edwards, and Barbara Opon, duly launched. To all of you here and to your dear ones, those nearest and dearest to you, both here and serving internationally as civil servants across the world. As I prepare to share